You're inspiring a nation of perverts to stalk young teenage black girls. And I think our young women are getting manipulated enough. I think our young women, where they talk about all these black women missing, we do all these stories. That's why I do lectures like Who Destroyed Our Children? I do that for Israelites, because Israelites love proliferate. Well, if she come on her flower. A woman coming on her flower does not mean she's ready to have sex.
Right.
Does not mean she's ready to be a wife. A woman coming on her flower does not mean she's ready to have sex.
Right.
Does not mean she's ready to be a wife. A woman coming on her flower does not mean she's ready to have sex.
Right.
Does not mean she's ready to be a wife.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rechah Hakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstones. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay. I want to do a third edition, and I think I'll title it, When is a Girl Considered a Woman? Okay. Now, what I noticed that Captain Tazariak, if you really listen in, the intro, he's kind of confusing himself and everyone else, because in the same sentence, or a few sentences, he said child, girl, and lady. Okay, so which one is it? He said, well, we have to protect the girls, and then he even used the word teens, which I don't know where do you get the teen? That was just something that they set up to put in between a so-called girl and a woman, when there is no such thing. It's either you a girl and then you become a young lady, okay, and then a woman, okay. That's it. All this extra stuff is there to confuse you, and that's Western culture. That's Western culture. And it's so hard for people to get, because they've been indoctrinated, okay, and had their conscience sealed with Western culture. It just doesn't seem right. That's how you want to think of it. Doesn't seem right. And then you even have what you call psychiatrists and doctors, whatever. They'll say that the young woman, children, which is no such thing, but young sons and daughters, when you get a certain age, your brain is not fully developed until you hit about 25 or whatever the case is. And you know why that's the case? If that is the case, even the skull the sutures in the skull is not fully sealed till about 25, your late 20s. That's because when you are given as a young lady to a man, he is to groom you and he is to help you grow, so you'll be sealed and indoctrinated with the truth according to the Bible. See, it's hard to indoctrinate a grown 30-year-old woman and say, this is how you're supposed to behave, this is how you're supposed to act. That's why it will only be very few women who will get it, at least at this point, until all hell break loose. Then, they'll get it then. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that, Captain Zariak. I'll try to make it quick, and I'll touch on a few articles. Okay, this Deuteronomy 28:15, it says, but if it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments. Okay, one of them is a woman is supposed to get married. She's to leave the house and cleave to her husband. Okay, and his statutes with which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And one of those biggest curses is, at this stage of the game, we are under the captivity of the Edomites, the people who will take everything according to the Bible and not keep one law righteously according to the Bible or commandments. They don't keep anything right. Everything according to the scriptures, totally backwards. Isaiah 29:16, turning things upside down. Okay? Everything. So when you deal with common sense, you just deal with common sense. Young girls, okay, which, and I'll say girls, young girls, the first thing they want is a doll. I've noticed this when I was young. I was like, you're too young to have children, so why do they want dolls? They want dolls, and they want the oven, one of those oven toy ovens, like they're baking and cooking. So the reason why these women are so miserable because they're totally taken out of their so-called habitat of what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, nothing wrong with a woman in this society working and help take care of the family, but she should have a husband, and that's what I noticed, and the next thing they didn't go on is I spoke in the previous video. What about the young men? Okay, they're taking young 13 and 14-year-old men, young boys. Let's say that, as you want to call them, young men, as they call women, young ladies. Okay, when you're taking young men, if he's a 14-year-old man, okay, he commit an armed robbery. Guess what? They're going to charge him as an adult. You mean to tell me he didn't understand? He understands what it is to commit a crime, but he doesn't understand what it is to have sex. Same thing with a young lady. A young lady at 14 years old commit murder or commit a crime, okay, a high-profile crime, because this is the Queen of Heaven. A grown woman could shoot up a restaurant and get 2 years, 1 year suspended sentence, probation, and still get a job. But that's another video. But if a young lady commit a heinous act, then guess what? They're going to charge her as an adult, and they're going to try to, push the terms as adulthood. But when she's 13 years old, all of a sudden, at 14 years old, she doesn't understand what she's doing. So what's the difference if a 14-year-old laid down with a 16-year-old man opposed to a 14-year-old laying down with a 30-year-old man? What's the difference? The difference in this society, they'll tell you the man manipulated her. So, well, who manipulated her when the young man was 15, 16? Who manipulated her then? The bottom line is, at a particular age, you pretty much know what you want and you know what you're doing. In this society, you're so dumbed down, you can't believe it, I'm just trying to, go through this because it doesn't make sense of what a lot of people think in the society, Let's go to an article. It's quite a few articles. I may not get to all of them, but I'll try to get to a couple. It says this is an article. This says the average age at which a girl becomes a woman is 12 years and 7 months, although the exact timing of her first period will follow that of her mother, meaning inherited. According to scientists at the University of London, they found that genes play the dominating role in the onset of menstruation, along with the physical environmental factors. So this is how we know we are in the Queen of Heaven spirit, because we understand that, and in scientists and everything understands that, and of course the scriptures, the Most High told us when a young woman was ready to get married and have sex. But this guy, Captain Tazariak, I'm pretty sure at the age of 13, 12, 13, he was looking at his school teacher. He was excited. He probably had erections, as most young men do, and they're ready for sex. In this society, it isn't so. But I'm saying, according to biologically, they were ready. They are ready for young men are ready as well. Okay, and some younger. When you're young, especially young men, even earlier they looking at girls, man, or women. I mean, come on. You can't change nature. What you can't turn is what the Most High set up. That's the bottom line, man. You cannot change what the Most High set up. Let's go to another one. Okay. You can't change what the Most High set up. It says a year after her first kiss, an average age of 15, the next important landmark for the girl will be losing her virginity. And they say at the average age. The reason why they're saying at the average age Because it can be 15, it can be 14, it can be 13, it can be 12. Okay? It can be 12. Jumping to this other part, it says, having lost her virginity 2 years earlier, by the age of 18, a young woman is by now sexually experienced enough to enjoy her first orgasm with her partner. And this is what everybody makes up. And the psychology of it is women, by the time they reach the understanding of what sex is, they're already destroyed. Okay? They're looking at someone, some actor or entertainer, some great singer that they want to be with. And so by the time they get another man, he doesn't meet the qualifications of the person that's in her romantic thought process, which is fantasy, This is what it is. Let's keep it real, okay? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7:36. It says, but if any man think that he behave himself uncomely toward his virgin, this sounds like you're talking about like a property. You see what I'm saying? It said, if she pass the flower of her age and need to so require, let him do what he will. He said, if not, let them marry. So you have a lot of people say they don't believe in the Bible, right? They'll say they don't believe in the Bible. This is not right. A woman that's 18, look, having a woman 30 years old don't have it right. 40, 50 years old even don't have it right, okay? So biologically, we have to go with what is said biologically, okay? So these people will say, the Bible is fake. I don't believe in it. So the thing that's going on now, that ain't working, is it? Okay? These women getting pregnant, and especially the black woman, you have the Parent Parenthood set up. They got more Parent Parenthoods than 7-Elevens. It's just what it is, man. Okay? Let's go on to this other, it was just a few articles I touched on. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Now, we could also say that by the time, and I also mentioned in a previous video, that by the time you're 18, when you turn about 30, 31, you have to have special parameters in place, medical supervisions in place to give birth, because now you're becoming out of the range of childbearing years. But in some cases, a lot of cases, you're still able to give birth, but the most fertile years would be as a younger adult. Okay? And I'm not even going to say a young adult, but as a young lady. Okay, it says, your risk for developing conditions that can negatively impact fertility, like endometriosis, amazing I was able to pronounce that, and tubal disease also increases as you get older. Because of these factors, your fertility begins to gradually decline at around the age of 32. So wait a minute. According to the society, if you're 18 years old, you can give. That's supposed to be the prominent age to give birth and get married, or whatever the case is. But so from the age of 18 to 28 is 10 years plus 2 will give you 12 years. 14. So you only got maybe 13, 14 years of healthy fertility. Does this make any sense? Does it to me? Okay, it's right here. It says chart here. It says 18% at age 25. Okay, talking about the declining. Okay, 18% at age 25. Your chances of getting pregnant decreases as you get older. After 3 months of trying, your odds of conceiving and during your next cycle are 18% at age 25. Okay, 16% at age 30, 12% at age 35, and even the old school Southerners know this to be true. They'll tell you if you're 20, 21 years old. Well, damn, you waited a little late to have children, didn't you? But now the women they're chasing their careers. This is a feminist society. They all about their careers and their money. Then they need all this extra help to try to get pregnant at age 40, 50 even, and they don't even have the right tools. They're not even getting the people that, they should be laying down with or want to. They're just settling. It's just way out of control, man, This is Timothy 5:17. 1 Timothy 5:14. It says, let's see what it says. I will therefore that the younger women, not young, the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to adversity to speak reproachfully. Okay? The younger woman, let's look this up. Younger woman, let's see what it says here. Okay? It says, recently born, young, youthful, new. Okay? This is what it's saying. Recently born, young, and youthful. A 12-year-old, 12 years is not a lot of time. 13 years, 14 years is not that much of a time. Okay? So these would be young women. Okay? Let's go on. It says, I went to another dictionary and looked up young. It says being in the first or an early stage of life, growth or development. Okay? Development, growth or development. And this is what I was going to at the beginning of the lesson, that when you are younger, especially young ladies, those are the times to be groomed, because their brains and their bodies are still fully developing. So by the time she reaches 20 years old, she'll be a fully developed, woman, and her conscience will be sealed with her husband. Everything will be already set. It won't be no arguments and disappointments. She will know him. Okay? And even in today's society, according to psychiatrists, they say in a study of psychiatry, they say it takes 5 to 7 years to really truly know your partner. This is what they say. But in this society, forget about it. If you're blessed enough to reach that level, okay? So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that and just, do kind of a full lesson on that. When you really look at it, you can't go on Western culture, Western thinking. This is all made up thinking. This is all the psychiatrists saying, well, a woman becomes, you got people confused. Well, they become a woman when they become a woman. They used to, they even had songs where a woman becomes a woman when she has sex, so, and technically so, but it would be a young woman. And what they're doing is they're trying to go against nature. Them young girls in middle school, 12, 13, 14 years old, they're not even really looking at the other young boys, some of them. Some of them they're looking online and they're looking at what? The great entertainer, like back in the day, Justin Bieber, even Michael Jackson years ago, when Michael Jackson was singing and everything, when he was alive. I'm sure you had 13-year-old girls who adored him. Even when you go back to the time of the Beatles, when you go to their audience, to the stage, they were grown men, but guess who was in the audience? Young women. Young women. I will also say that, in this lesson, that we don't condone any grown men messing with any young, very young women. It's against the law and you will be arrested. Okay? We're just speaking this for truth's sake, according to our heritage as Israelites. Okay? And even the other heathens had followed that form of custom to some degree. And the future, when this place is done away with, what to look forward to. Okay? That's all I have on that. Shalom.